Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan live. This is a new thing I've started just today, done one earlier, and I do plan to do one live per day going forward just to see how you guys enjoy it. So let me know in the comments below if you like this format, but I'm not going to stop doing my recorded 10-minute moans as well, because some people in the first one said they preferred the 10-minute ones because the last one went on for nearly 40 minutes. So I kind of get that. However, the topic of this 10-minute moan is to discuss Alec Harvie and other MSPs' behaviour, where they are complaining about trans people not being able to use the toilets of their wish in Holyrood. And I find this absolutely mental. And give me your opinion. Give me your opinions on the live chat, please. And if you want to ask a question, do me a big favour, put a Q in front of it, and I'll try and catch up with them once I've finished talking about this story. Unless you've lived under a rock or in the moon for the last few weeks, you'll be well aware that the Supreme Court in London decided, after being taken to court by a group of very brave Scottish women who took the Scottish Parliament to court, over the definition of what a woman is. And the court decided that you are assigned your sex at birth, and that's kind of it. If you want to change your gender after that, well, that's another thing. But in the eyes of the law, a man's a man if born a man, a woman's a woman if born a woman. So most people, sort of, like I would imagine most of my audience, and me included, people who have got common sense and apply logic, we're quite happy with that because we were fed up with all the nonsense. Now, being fed up with all the nonsense doesn't mean you're transphobic or anti-trans. It means you kind of put in front of any of that women's rights and children's safety. So, that's kind of where I am with the whole thing. But when you speak out against it, you get brandished transphobic and you get brandished anti-trans and all this nonsense. So, excuse me, I've not been in a train with Macron, by the way. I've genuinely got an itchy nose because you might have noticed I've had a wee shave at the chin and the whiskers. So where was I? Yeah, so that's kind of where society is. But the vast majority of people, the football associations, the folk like that, as soon as the thing became the law, because the Supreme Court said so, well, they just adjusted all their constitutions and their rules and the regulations and got on with it, accepted that is where we are as far as the law is concerned. And that didn't suit some people, obviously, and all the mad lefty mob, the rent-a mob that go and protest about everything every weekend. Well, they kind of went nuts. We had a really peculiar situation in Parliament where one of our MSPs, who's actually on the Equalities Committee, who is the Green MSP, what's her name again? She's right out of my head. Cracker Jack looking mad, sort of short, cropped hair, Canadian. Somebody stick her name in the comments, please. I've just took brain freeze there. Brain freeze? No, that's a totally different thing. I should maybe stop doing these lives, right? Because I'm normally all right at this stuff. Anyway, nearly had her name. He told people basically to ignore this legislation, which I thought was a bit potty because she's in as an MSP and should know better. You're meant to write the laws and obey the laws when you're in that. Maggie Chapman. Thanks very much, Mr. Tommy Boy. Maggie Chapman, our dear friend Maggie Chapman. So there was calls that she should just bugger off out of Holyrood. It went to the ethics, the Equalities Committee to vote on whether she should stay in or not. And not only did she vote, they got an MSP out of bed who was over in Grenada or something as an independent observer for a election over there to vote. And the chair all voted. And she kept her job in a 3-2 vote, which was a bit bizarre. But by the by, that was kind of the story. That's where we were up to there, right? However, last night, I've been meaning to do this video all day because last night there was a news article telling us that at least 50 people that work in Holyrood, including MSPs, had written a letter complaining that this was terrible because Holyrood, like most other normal places, said, well, that's it. If you're a man, you can go in there, and if you're a woman, you go in there, and if you're, you can't just decide yourself. So that's kind of what happened in Holyrood. But since then, let me just pull this up. Mr. Harvie and a load of other people. So last night's story didn't tell us who these people are. Just said up to 50 people and some were MSPs. So the Herald today have went with this story. Harvie, Holyrood trans toilet ban may breach human rights. Aye, it might. But I tell you what, see, no having it. It definitely, there's no may about it. It definitely breaches human rights of 50% of our population who are women, who don't want men peeing in the toilets, right? So if you want to just have the half of 1% of the population are trans, and apparently about half of them are trans women, which I don't understand the meaning of that. That's, you're a guy. Then what are you trying to do here? So get like the rest is, think with your head, think of democracy, think of, you know, the majority, kind of, we need to look after them, and sometimes, and it doesn't may breach human rights if you let trans people pee in women's toilets. It definitely breaches the human rights of our females. So Harvie has accused the Scottish Parliament ruling body of adopting an exclusionary approach to transgender rights following the changes to access for toilets and changing rooms at Holyrood. The Scottish Green co-leader said the interim decision by the Scottish Parliament Corporate Body risked returning Scotland to the breach of human rights, which existed prior to the creation of the Gender Recognition Act of 2004. Mr. Harvie is one of 17 MSPs to have signed an open letter criticising the recent change in policy. The letter, also signed by 30 staff members, therefore 47 in total, most of whom work for MSPs, was organised by the Good Law Project. It described the new rules as transphobic. There's that word again. Put an obic at the end of it, and that means you're a bad person. And apparently, all sensible conversations need to stop at that point. Anyway, warning their implementation would be deeply invasive and risk humiliation, harassment, or worse. Wonder what the or worse is. During an urgent question at Holyrood, Mr. Harvie cited former Supreme Court Judge Lord Sumption, who has said that organisations are permitted but not obliged to exclude trans people from single-sex spaces. Mr. Harvie told MSPs, in making the decision to take this exclusionary approach, I am concerned that the SPCB is risking taking us back to the breach of human rights, which exists. You've already said this, Patrick. Prior to the creation of the Gender Recognition Act in 2004, and a position that's just little as 10 years ago was the obsession of the extremist fringe of the US Republican Party. Patrick, you are the co-leader of the Scottish Green Party. You go to Holyrood to work. What the hell do you keep going on about stuff that's got nothing to do with you, i.e. whatever happens in the USA or whatever the US Republican Party do? Shut up, sit down and stick to saving trees, because that's kind of why you should be there in the first place. Anyway, I digress, and Patrick continues. It is not enough to use words like inclusive experience and welcoming environment. He asked whether the corporate body recognised the impact the changes had already had on those who are being told they are no longer permitted to use basic facilities like toilets on the same basis as everyone else, and who now feel unwelcome and demeaned in their own workplace. Let me just stop you there, you absolute fruit bats. Right, you are not getting treated any different. You are getting treated on the same basis as everybody else. If you were born genetically as a man, like I was, and I want to go to the toilet, I go to one with the wee guy emblem. You're doing the exact same. You should go to the one with the wee guy emblem. So nobody is treating anybody any different. And you've already got what you're looking for, and that is to be treated the same basis as everyone else. And that is going to the toilet in the sex you were born. Not the one you dreamt up, thought you kind of think I would like to be one of them. Not that one, right? What you actually are. If we've seen your chromosomes, kind of, we would know, right? That's it. X, Y's, right? So let's just stop the nonsense. This, you want treated the same as everybody else. That's the whole point, right? Treat you the same as everybody else. Born a guy, that's your toilet. Born a woman, could you go over there, please? Life was easy, right? Responding on behalf of the SPCB, SNP, MSP, Christine Graham, sure that's the old one, sits like second row, quite funny. Anyway, said it was rather unfortunate that Mr. Harvie had to use such language, and insisted the corporate body had acted in a tolerant and sensitive manner. in a very delicate and balanced manner. The Scottish Parliament has always sought to reflect the founding principles to be open, accessible institution to promote participation and equal opportunities. We remain deeply committed to those principles and to provide, I know you do not like this word, an inclusive environment where all, including those in the trans and non-binary community, feel supported and welcome to work and visit. The changes which come into effect earlier this month follow the Supreme Court hearing, blah, 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 done all this anyway. And it's new. Under the new policy, all toilets and changing rooms marked male or female at Holyrood are now designated on the basis of biological sex. Why were they ever any different? The Parliament has increased the number of gender-neutral facilities by redesigning 3 public toilets and 2 private facilities used by MSPs and staff. Right. Hold on. It has already done that. It's not saying it's going to do it. It has increased the number. So what are these clowns moaning about, right? You've got now gender-neutral facilities. So if you want to pee in an area where it doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, or you don't know, right? You can go in there. So they've already got that. So what's the point? Oh my God, these people are mental. So now we're fighting for stuff we've already got. I kind of misread that the first time I read it. I thought it said they're going to do it. Because that's how you would read it if, like, you knew that people were moaning to get it. You've already got it. My God. Anyway, Ms. Graham said Parliament would not police toilet use, but a complaints process was available. We are certainly not monitoring the use of public facilities. This is not going to be policed by a corporate body. Several MSPs, including the NSP, Emma Roddick, questioned whether the decision had been made prematurely and whether it risked creating a very hostile working environment. No, it's not been made premature. It's actually been made late because we should have done it before we had to go to bloody Court of Sessions. Not Court of Sessions, Supreme Court, right? So it's not premature. It's overdue, right? Because we should never have got that far in the first place. We should have had a sort of reality check, used common sense and logic, and thought, aye, having anybody that wants to pee in a women's toilet is a bit dangerous. And I would hate to be a woman that a guy been in first, right? Because I can't even share a house with somebody without getting into trouble for now and again doing stuff to the seat, right? So if I was a woman, the last thing I would want from even a hygienic point of view is getting into a toilet that potentially a guy's been at before me. I wouldn't be happy with that at all in public. It's bad enough in your own house when you know the bugger, right? But see when you're in public and it could be anybody that you're getting into pee on top of, it's manky, right? Apart from all the safety issues and other issues that it's just wrong, then I kind of get worried about why somebody like Alex Harvie, who's not trans, right, is so driven to let men pee in women's toilets. There's something like, I'm not computing this at all. It's a bit bonkers. Ms. Roddick asked, does the SPCB recognise that this unexpected and surprising policy change? It's not unexpected or surprising, you fruitcake. What has put trans and non-binary staff in an impossible situation and potentially a hostile working environment? Well, no, because they've already put toilets that you can go in. But here's the other thing, right? How many trans and non-binary staff is there in this place that we need all this This place, right, talks about some amount of nonsense for stuff that it shouldn't be talking about. I've got news for you guys that work in Holyrood. Scotland's a mess. It's like it's declined so much over the last 2 decades, it's almost unrecognisable. You do have the powers, although you don't want to accept them and you want to tell folk you can't do anything because Westminster's the worst place in the world. Right, I get all that. But the reality is, go to your work for 5 years that you're voted in, use the powers of devolution to sort stuff out for Scotland. But this, even having discussions about toilets in Holyrood for trans people, when the reality might be there's 4 in the building and I've already got another 2 toilets already that they can go to without having to bother anybody, right, is total bonkers. If this was the sort of nonsense anybody tried to pull working in the private sector, they wouldn't last too long in the private sector. I mean, you consider these people are getting paid £72,000 plus expenses before they sit in a committee or do anything else, cabinet ministers and the like, that get them even more money. They're getting 70-odd thousand quid. You go into the private sector, right, to go in there to do a decent level of job, right, it's quite a responsible job you've got, and come away with nonsense like this, you wouldn't pass. your next monthly review. Guaranteed. They are bonkers. And then, Alex Cole-Hamilton, another fruitcake. He said no parliamentary staff will be put in a position of having to challenge a toilet user in the future. All right. Lorna Slater, that crackpot, she's more potty than other Green I was talking about earlier that I couldn't remember her name, Maggie Chapman. The two of them, they're nuts. One's Maggie Chapman, I said she's Canadian. She's South African or Rhodesian. Call her Rhodesian, she'll go nuts. She'll say she's Zimbabwean, but you know the type. And Slater, she's Canadian, right? No by generations, born there, two of them, no here, right? But they want to dictate where Scottish people pee away and howl at the moon. That's what they do. So I think I've gabbled on quite a bit. Yeah, I went on for 16 minutes on a 10-minute moan. So I kind of need to slow down. So now I'm going to have a wee look through the comments. If I don't read your comment out, it's because there's like hundreds of them, right? It's not because I don't like you. It's because like I'm just trying to find the ones that are questions. All right. So there's loads of highs. Hello, hi, thanks for that. Nice. What does that mean? Nice. GTSY. I'm not up with this. I'm 52, mate. Right. I watch lives all the time. Love them. Good man. I'll keep them going then. I wonder when the Scottish government will tell people how much it costs the taxpayer to push this to the High Court. That's a great point. It'll be like loads, because it always does. Have you spoke to the Ravenscraig whistleblower yet? No, I haven't. I did reach out months ago to try and do that. And wait a minute, are you talking about the Greenock one? The female? Yes, I have. Had her on the show twice. Great. I was actually talking to her just yesterday via text. Lindsay Roberts. What's this one? You're welcome, Craig. My oath aye. Stuart was putting stuff in the chat before we came on live, and he was mentioning he'd been in our armed forces, and I just thanked him for his service. My oath continues until I'm no longer here at 58. Now this is a different country. I proudly serve in combat in the 80s just across the water. Well done, sir. Hat off to you, sir. Always appreciative of our armed forces. What's happening in Scotland? These people are set destroying Britain. Certainly are. John Kerr, Patrick Harvie should ask the public what we want, know what he wants. That's kind of aye. He's meant to serve his constituents, John. We're not here to hang. That's another one. What does this mean? Somebody needs to tell me what GTS. I'm no up with this. I thought LOL for like years was Loyal Orange Lodge, right? I kind of was wondering why with all these Hornsman and all these chats, and then I realised when I got one that done emojis that it meant laugh out loud. So that's kind of where I'm at. So please tell me what GTSY is. Looks like you shaved the mirror. Right. See this? I'll not be putting up with this. Right. This is just cheek. Right. So stop it. Listen, I'm to finish the job. I need to do the barnet, but it wasn't a shave. It was a trim with the bizz buzz. Never forget dignity of a woman's place, plus the latter's PDFs getting it. In fact, yes, so I 100% agree with you, and I think sometimes I might just be old-fashioned, but that's the way it is. Women and children first, that's the old ethic, isn't it? It's time to ask women, Mr. Harvie, you're not a woman. Yep, well said, John. Trans travel. I should read these before I put them up on the screen. I had a trans travel card, a student, I think SPT, that I should save on the train fares. Yep, it was the transfers there, mate. Maggie chat person, that was that. Any more questions? I'll read this one, Soul Surprise. Yeah. They're definitely, mate, they're cuckoo. The thing about the Scottish Greens that I don't get is they're meant to be an environmental party. I kind of get that, right? So what I don't know is when in that journey did they become separatists that want an independent Scotland, because they're always shouting about that, and into gender issues things, right? I don't get it, but there you go. On to your intro, Bob Craig. How many kludges does a poison imp think he needs? Aye, good idea. That is a good question. It's like, you know, and the maddest thing is they've already changed the toilets. Women and men, and no such thing as trans. There's only one trans gig. Here's another thing, Neil, right? People say a trans woman is a woman, right? Well, if that was the case, you wouldn't need to even have the word trans woman. That wouldn't be a thing. If trans women were women, you would just have the word women. And now they try to say this cis thing, which kind of means me, I'm a cis guy, apparently. And I don't need that tag. I'm a guy. End of, full stop. So this trans woman thing, but they're women. Well, if they were women, you wouldn't be describing them as trans women. So you're kind of arguing against your own argument, which is fantastic. There's another John. Who's this? You should get Discord. Me? I've got Discord. I don't know how to use Discord. I've been on it about 3 times in my life. It confuses. It's got too many buttons. I have no idea what I'm doing when I'm on Discord. So I hope that's no me. I'm just trying to get through these because I do need to go. By the way, I'm coaching the kids at 7:30. I coach kids football, volunteering. So I'll be out here sharp. Kind of 9 minutes maximum left, right? So if I don't read your thing out, don't call me bad on social media, for God's sake, and hurt my feelings. Please Google Patrick Harvie, Ian Dunn Memorial Award, done that. Yep, that was a pie sting. He got the award. Holyrood also remains silent. Cabinet Minister and SNP Majority Prop. A deviant. Yeah, he won an award, Ian Dunn Memorial Award, which was for the pie, which was paedophile investigation. I can't remember what it was called, but basically it was for being nice to these people, and which was a bit weird. Well placed Portaloos. Aye, do that. A great idea, Portaloos. That would be fantastic. What about women's rights, Mr. Harvie? Now, I'm just going to bring this up on the screen. But before I do it, I just want to clarify one thing. I don't go looking for these, right? I was on a well-known guy's live, no, on it, watching a guy's live a month ago, and I was quite disappointed in him because all he'd done, and he made it dead clear, was the only people that would get their questions asked or their points made that they'd put on the message board were people that done this, which was to give, I think they're called super thanks, right? Now, Gillian, 1, I didn't ask for them, and 2, that's like too generous, right? People give me super thanks now and again, me £2, £5, and think, whatever. The odd time I've had one guy with 100 quid and I was like totally embarrassed, right? I think it's lovely, and what I do with the money that I get with that, I buy stuff like these cameras, these lights, microphones, tripods. I don't put the money in my pocket when I get these thanks and when I get people to take out a membership to the channel. That, like this laptop in front of me, I was able to buy that, no hassle. My old laptop broke. There was enough money in the kitty to go and buy a lovely spanking good laptop. So I'm really appreciative of this. However, I'm not put the begging bowl out for them, and I will never do what some people do. I was quite disappointed with the guy where it was basically you need to pay me or I don't put your thing up on the screen. So just put it out there. Anyway, thanks very much, Catherine Gillian. I can see a lot of legal court cases coming down the road. Everyone is sick and tired of all this nonsense. When is enough's enough? I've also noticed the law is only an advisory when it comes to the commies. That's a great shout. Thanks very much, Catherine, again. I like this one, Stuart. Vote for Craig Houston next year, guys, and have a voice in Holyrood. That's it. Let's got about 50 weeks to go. Let's get the whole thing started soon. I will be making some big statements, hopefully end of this week, beginning of next week, about what I'll be doing in the trying to get to Holyrood. Some real big news. I'm desperate to share with you guys, but you understand why. There's certain people have to get told what I want to tell you all now, and that's fair enough. So bear with me, and thanks very much for that, Stuart. Harvie, right, there's a lot of sort of repeated stuff about Harvie. So I'm just trying to, what's this one? Ask yourself if you want to see your young daughter going in and your dad had to be outside a changing room. Yeah, it's, I think, Zoe, that's the fear in most males. Certainly I've got a daughter, and, we've all got women in our life. What's the problem with trans women, men using the male facilities? Well, that's kind of weird to use them, right? It could be that they're targeted, frightened about violence, maybe. Right, okay. So what about the females that they're wanting to go in and pee with the nuke? Are they not allowed to have these same fears? And when you consider we're talking about half the population, 6.5 million in Scotland, sort of 3 million of them plus are women, where there's probably thousands, maybe, of trans people and probably 4 working Holyrood. It's a lot of noise. And I do agree with this, though. It's odd. We very rarely hear the trans women moaning. You do now and again, but you're right. The majority of the time, the folk are moaning about it are folk that are not trans, and that's kind of weird. I'd like to use a loo after my eldest son. Imagine a stranger's pee in the back seat. That's kind of what I was saying, mate. That's kind of what I was saying. Now I do apologise. I'm dead conscious of the time because I need to be out here at 7 o'clock, or I'll have 16, 18 Waynes disappointed when the coach turns up and they've not got a body kick and I don't get there early enough. Because women with blue hair stand outside Parliament and shout, Lord, he needs a bandwagon. I take it you're talking about Patrick there. Why are they obsessed with watching women pee? It's a possibility, some of them are. That's exactly what I said, James, earlier. How many trans workers are actually there? This is the whole, we're talking, making this noise about a small number of people who already, as we discovered with that article, who have already got extra toilets for them anyway. It's all a bit mental. And you aren't listening. I said, if you want to ask a question, do me a favour and mark a Q at the start of it, because then it'll stand out and make it easier for me. Because I'm not like that guy Sean Atwood that I've been on his show 4 times on lives. He's loaded, right? He's got 900 and odd thousand subscribers. He's got folk run his messages and all that, right? When you go in, I was like, who's this? Oh, that's one of my folk that helps me. So help me out here, folks. If you've got a question, stick a Q in the front of it and I'll get to it. And it would be, even when I'm flicking through here, they would just jump out at me. So that would be fantastic. So are we, I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. What's these ones for? Did I used to do ones? I've seen loads of ones. Don't forget, Period Poverty Scotland are handing nursery books to nurseries. It says boys can use. Stop it. Stop. I was talking about this last night, right? We were talking about Twitter. Who was I talking to? I think it was Sean Atwood, actually. We were talking about social media and how there's just no rhyme or reason to it. Videos you put out, you think will be average, go through the roof, and sometimes you put one out, you think it's a bumper and nobody watches it. We were talking about Twitter. I put a tweet out 2-3 months ago. Somebody sent me, actually. It was a photograph of a toilet on a hospital in Aberdeen, male toilet, that had sanitary towels and sanitary pads, things. I can't even say that word, I hate it, I blush. In the men's toilet. And I put it on and I went, like, I don't recognise the world anymore. 10 million impressions it got on Twitter. It exploded. I've done a photograph of the exact same thing as this. It's just all absolute bonkers. Craig, Jim's protest outside the Hard Court in Edinburgh about miscarriages of justice happening to men all over Scotland now. This is a massive scandal. Yeah, I've been sort of looking at, I don't know who Jim's is. I probably do, and apologies. I don't want to appear disingenuous, but I've had somebody else come on to me with some concerns over what happens with men when they get accused of stuff and how they're maybe treated differently. So kind of get that. There's Karen, but this woman has probably commented on more of my videos than anybody else in the history of my videos. So thanks, Karen. Don't even know what you're saying, if it makes sense. I've just thought I'd pop it up because you recognise your name. I think you need to be a woman. What? Trans exclusionary, radical feminist. Oh, I forgot you can't identify as a woman. Yes, you can. You just can't be in the women's. Right? You just don't you dare tell Dan what he can and can't do. You leave him alone. Kind of think I've got as much as I can. It's 6:59. I need to leave here at 7 on the dot. Go and coach your Waynes at 6:30. So listen, thanks very much everybody that watched this and the one earlier on today. As I say in all my videos, click the thumbs ups, put some comments in, hit the share button, please, and appreciate every single person that does that. If you've not already done so, please consider clicking down subscribe to the channel. However, most important thing of all, unless you're the type of person who wants to dress up as a woman and demand to go into women's toilets, or somebody that doesn't dress up as a woman but wants guys to be able to do that in the first place, I don't even know what's worse, then know you. But see everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.